My Dress Up Darling will end with the next chapter on March 21st, aka the last chapter. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this announcement, and seeing the official main account, or the author of My Dress Up Darling, making this statement that yes, next month will be the last chapter, it leaves me with just a pit of sadness, because taking a hard look at, like, the latest chapter, the chapter before the finale, it feels like there's just so much more story that could be told. There feels like it could be expanded upon. There could be many arcs to dive into, and I've always talked about this when we have a conclusion of a story, mainly for romance slice of life stories, that just because characters get together, they tie the knot, so to speak, like they confess their feelings, doesn't necessarily mean that the manga should conclude. You know, there can definitely be more story to tell. You know, them going into, like, their college years, them getting jobs, them, you know, having a family, seeing them grow as individuals. It doesn't mean life stops because these friends now become lovers. There is story that can be told, and I really hate this. Like, I like that it is not going to overstay its welcome. I will say that, because obviously I can look at, let's say, Rent a Girlfriend for a second. I'll talk about this in a second, but, like, I am glad that My Dress Up Darling isn't going to overstay its welcome, but it feels like there is just so much more story that can be told. And this goes for a lot of stuff within this genre, like, for instance, Nagatoro of last year. You know, I talked about Nagatoro, and I was like, Nagatoro, it pretty much ended in a very similar way as what My Dress Up Darling is doing, and as I've talked about already, I want to see, like, a continuation, a time skip, a college arc, whatever, and I would like to see the same exactly for My Dress Up Darling. Are we gonna get that? Probably not. And it makes me so upset, because I really wish we could get away from this cliche type of ending and move into series that, like, try to expand upon the epilogue, because it's like, I would love to see, like, the epilogue of the characters actually being together and seeing how they go day by day together, because obviously life won't be perfect, and there will be definitely challenges that they have to overcome as they are a couple. So I don't know, I wish more authors would do that. But getting back into the main point, My Dress Up Darling is set to end in literally a chapter, and it's sad, man. Another one. Another good manga that I have been reading is now coming to a close. I mean, everything that I have been reading basically for a while now is just ending, and it's kind of sad, really. It really is, and I'm left, like, when I look at this announcement, I think to myself, like, how? How has Rent a Girlfriend managed to survive another one? Like, it is outlasting and outpacing pretty much every popular manga, mainly in its category of romance, let's be fair here, but it has survived longer than a lot of popular manga, like JJK, for instance, and all that. So it's crazy to just see that, Rent a Girlfriend, once again, has survived long enough to continue to have chapters coming out, to even outlast not just Nagatoro, but also My Dress Up Darling. And, I mean, if it keeps this pace and we see no ending in sight, it's only a matter of time until maybe, it might outlast One Piece, which would be insane. I mean, right now, it's looking like Rent a Girlfriend is becoming the One Piece of its genre. Not in a good way, but it's staying extremely long. And I guess this gets into the comment of overstaying your welcome. It's why I briefly mentioned. I mean, I'm glad that My Dress Up Darling is wrapping up before it feels like it's dragged out, because there has been parts within the story that hasn't felt like that. I'm not going to deny it. It's not a perfect manga. And so, if the author legitimately doesn't know what to do, I'd rather them end it on their own terms than necessarily drag it out and make it a shallow, hollow husk of what it actually could be. So I think it's better to end like this than not. But even still, it's just like, I don't think it's because the series is being axed or anything, if anyone's concerned about that. I mean, My Dress Up Darling is very popular. It's getting a season 2. From my understanding, it doesn't seem like the manga volume sales have been bad. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any indication that, it is doing poorly in terms of sales. So I don't think necessarily it was axed or anything. I just think the author wanted to end it on their own terms, and here we go. But that gets into the next thing. How does this make you feel that, once again, Rent a Girlfriend has survived another series that's very popular? Does this make you happy? Does this make you sad? Does this make you angry? Because at this point in time, I'm just going to say it like it is. I'm willing to put some money on this. I'm willing to bet that Rent-A-Girlfriend is going to legitimately have a great ending. Like, I don't know what it is, but there is a thought in my head that, yes, it is not a perfect series, and obviously there's a lot of complaints about this, but clearly it's popular. I have a suspicion that when the series finally does start to wrap itself up, it enters the final arc and everything, it's going to probably be some absolute cinema. I don't know why, but that is the feeling I have. And that is going to be absolutely funny, especially since we're in a time period where a lot of endings, I'm not saying My Dress Up Darling is going to be like this, but we live in a time period where a lot of endings feel very unsatisfying. And I've talked about manga endings and stuff as of late in separate videos, and I hope My Dress Up Darling, when the last chapter comes out, it's very satisfying and maybe even sets up for a possible sequel. That is always a potential possibility. Will it happen? Probably not. But even still, I have a sinking suspicion that, this is going to have a good ending. Anyways, back onto the topic. Yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going to end. Obviously, when the final chapter comes out, I will discuss it, I will talk about it, I will review it, because obviously it is a finale of a series that legitimately has been extremely popular for the last few years. In fact, I would say that in the equivalency of the 2020s, Marin, aka our main female character here, is like the Yoko from her time period, or this time period. If you don't know who Yoko is, it's currently gone. You know, like, Yoko was very popular. A lot of people recognized her, a lot of people cosplayed her and everything, and obviously the stories are very different, but, like, in terms of iconic, like, female character icons, I think Yoko really stood out for her time period, and I think that Marin is in a very similar state of how she stands out. So, yeah, but, I'll leave it at that. Tell me your thoughts. Are you happy that My Dress Up Darling is ending? Are you sad it's ending? Do you think it's going to conclude the entire story? Do you think it's going to leave a lot of things left open? Be honest in the comments below. I legitimately want to hear what you guys have to say. But I love you. Be safe. Stay healthy. Stay winning. Chibi out.